All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is suing some former partners of him for, I think, around $160 million because they were not able to pay up money for a fight with Jake Paul that was going to take place in Dubai. And that, I think, is illustrative of a problem that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua has. Just because somebody says they have the money and they're waving it in your, they're waving the promise in your face, doesn't mean that when it actually, you know, when the rubber hits the road, that you're actually going to get the money. And that, my friends, is what Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going through right now. And I do believe Tyson and Fury and Anthony Joshua will go through if they try to fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. I love this topic because this topic is about business and the business of boxing. And let me tell you, business is business, okay? You're buying and selling boxing, you know, the products, the services, all that stuff related to the economic, you know, ecosystem, the economic system of boxing. But regardless, it's boxing, it's the business of boxing. In this particular circumstance, it should be a lesson learned for many, many, many people. Just because somebody promises you that they can sell you the Brooklyn Bridge doesn't mean that you should give them the money, right? So what happened? Floyd Mayweather Jr. is suing a group of partners, won't say the name of them, just you can look it up, right? He has a group of business partners out of Dubai that got in contact with Floyd Mayweather and said, hey, we would like to host a fight between you and Jake Paul, the YouTube guy with the big, exhibition fights. And we would like to have that over there in Dubai. We've got a group of backers in Dubai that would just pay you the money to come. So the price, I do believe, and you could look at them, there's somewhere around these general numbers, was $160 million. And so Floyd says, yeah, absolutely, we can come fight in Dubai for $160 million. As part of the contract, though, Floyd's team says, yeah, but by a certain date, I think it was in April or something, maybe March, mid-March, they were supposed to provide a down payment of $30 million. Floyd Mayweather Jr., I assume, did a lot of promotions and a lot of conversations around fighting Jake Paul at that time, if you recall. However, the people that said that they were going to come up with the money and started all that stuff didn't come up with the money. That's why the fight did not happen when they were originally talking about it before. So Floyd sued him, and Floyd found somebody else, I do believe Showtime, to come up with the money to actually show the fight. But the original people that said they had the money are now being sued. So what does that mean for guys like Tyson Fury and other people that are wanting to rave around the opportunity to fight over there in the Middle East? The fact of the matter is, that is easier said than done. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are like $100 million, $150 million each for the fight to take place in Dubai. First of all, do you ever watch the news and realize that there is a whole lot of stuff going on in that region, and that region is highly, highly, highly volatile? So you can have some people that may have a lot of money, but depending on the situation on the ground politically, you may or may not be allowed legally to get any of that money from them. So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there in Saudi Arabia, big time, big money people. You don't know where their money's coming from at all, right? But they got a lot of money. You know, some of that money it could be ill-begotten, depending on the vantage point of the person that is doing all of that. And that is why, and I actually told you guys this on a video before, I had known the name of the person that was a plug for, specifically the plug from inside sources, the plug to the money that was in Saudi Arabia. And I told you guys in live streams, that money is not going to be there because that plug is no longer there. The particular person that they were talking to and working, and they said, oh yeah, we're going to bring all this money in, that person was no longer there, and they were not able to fulfill that promise. Right? Now, what is happening? Now we find out that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is suing somebody that promised that they could get him $160 million. He acted on what they said, or they acted upon their request. Took a lot of expense associated with it, right? A lot of things like him announcing it, his public, his public reputation when he promises people, all the things that you do in reliance of that, right? Now is on that guy and those people that said that they had the money from these high net worth individuals. So while you're running around talking about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, realize that they're basically doing the same thing. They're saying, look, we can't have the fight in the UK. First of all, there's not enough money in the UK to do the fight, even if it wasn't a pandemic. You're not going to get $100 million and $100 million out of the UK. The top you're going to get out of that fight is $60 million. And that's going to be $60 million to split between everybody, because that's the entire revenue of it when you look at their pay-per-views and when you look at the cost of their ticket sales and how many people can come to Wembley Stadium. They make about they made for Vladimir Klitschko in Germany, which was, I do believe, for Germany, that fight, the Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko fight in the UK grossed about $50 million US. So how in the world, if they don't fight in Saudi Arabia, or they don't fight somewhere else, and you got some big bank guy that is willing to pay it, and they say, forget you, I'm not paying for that money, I'm not paying that money, how are they going to go over there and get that type of money over there in the UK? Especially when you know that Tyson Fury doesn't even have a UK boxing license. It sounds to me like this is just a marketing ploy from Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, where Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua via Eddie Hearn, however you want to say it. It just sounds like it to me, it's always been, is a matchroom ploy. They do not have a fight of note for Anthony Joshua. Nobody's interested in a fight between Anthony Joshua and Derek Chisora or Dillian White or Andy Ruiz III or Wojciech or Daniel Dubois name them. None of them, right? None of them. Joe Joyce, none of them are interested in fights for Anthony Joshua. So how has Anthony Joshua been keeping his name in the paper? By talking about a fight with Tyson Fury and going back and forth. And even in those conversations that are going back and forth, that number one, they're still in an arbitration. So you don't know what Tyson Fury is able to do at all. Then on top of that, if you listen to Bob Arum has on multiple occasions called it a pipe dream. One day he'll say, oh yeah, we've got this offer coming in, and the next day he'll be like, oh, that offer, there's nothing really solid about that. Then you'll get Frank Warren, who's just saying, look, we've not seen anything actionable on a piece of paper. There's really nothing to say about it. And it's just when you listen to Bob Arum and Frank Warren, who are actually on Tyson Fury's team, they don't sound like they're confident about it. And it's very clear from Eddie Hearn that Bob Arum and Frank Warren are not the ones initiating the conversation, because Eddie Hearn said that in order for any site agreement to take place, that the people that he is working with are going to require that Tyson Fury denounce Daniel Kinahan and assure them that Daniel Kinahan's not involved. So there's just a lot of stuff around it from the Tyson Fury team that it doesn't seem as if this is something that is imminent, and it doesn't seem like it's anything that's real. And quite honestly, man, that's what you get when you just go off and you believe that anybody, who can introduce you and fly you on a plane to Dubai necessarily can convince these guys or make the political situation such so that they can give you and overpay you ridiculous sums of money. Because there's also that. Why would these people be overpaying for a fight like that when they could go for less money, they can go fly to the UK and watch it there? But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.